Hallo kykers en welkom by die 202de episode van Erongo Talk. Dit is altyd lekker om in julle geselskap te wees. Nou vandag kuier ons by Little Foot Garden Center hier op Swakopmund en ons vier dan ook Wêreld Doktersdag. Ons bring vir julle die nuus, Krampie se fishing report, die weer en ook die getye. In ons onderhoud vertel Heide en Urte van die Swakopmund Kunsvereniging ons meer oor die komende Night of Galleries kunsuitstalling. Bly aangeskakel, ons is nou terug. Dit is Dinsdag en soos dit ons nou maar die gewoonte is, doen ons dinge so 'n bietjie in Afrikaans. So, die Esther Badenhuis Carpe Diem se geldinsamelings- en bewusmakingsgeleentheid vir Alzheimer siekte wat gepaard gaan met 'n kabaretvertoning word op 2 April deur For You Events and Functions op die strand naby Boababstraat op Swakopmund aangebied. Volgens een van die organiseerders, Reino Du Plessis, is die geleentheid daarop gemik om 'n huis te bou vir mense wat aan Alzheimer ly. Ons wil graag 'n beter toekoms skep vir mense wat aan Alzheimer siekte ly. Hulle moet ook dieselfde gebehandel word as ander mense en daarom gaan ons geld insamel en dit skenk vir die bou van 'n spesiale huis om hulle te versorg, het Reino gesê. In ons tweede storie, die Have a Heart projek streef na 'n unieke doel. En dit is om teen die einde van die jaar 1000 honde en katte te steriliseer. Die poging word onderskraag en gefinansier deur die Have a Heart Charity Shop, 'n liefdadigheidswinkel wat sy deure in Oktober 2019 op Swakopmund geopen het. Nou die winkel het sedertdien bekend geraak as 'n plek waar jy allerlei interessante items teen billike pryse kan vind. Die sukses van die winkel is heeltemal van die publiek afhanklik. Mense kan items skenk wat by die winkel verkoop word of hulle kan hulle steun toon deur ietsie daar te koop. Die winste is dan ten bate van die Have a Heart. And now for some port news. The week-long traffic jam which occurred at sea was subsequently cleared yesterday. The Namibian Ports Authority Namport said it monitored the situation closely in the Suez Canal, where the Ever Given, a container vessel registered in Panama, ran aground and became locked sideways across the waterway last Tuesday. Now, the Suez Canal blockage costed the global economy much more at a time when the supply chain is under severe strain. The possible spin-offs for Namport included the provision of bunkering services with import limits, the resupply of ship stores, and transshipment services for these vessels, said Elias Mwenyu, the manager for business development at Namport. Mwenyu noted that the trade lanes feeding the Namibian ports are not affected by the incident in the Suez Canal. However, if the problem had not been resolved speedily, the shortage of containers would have been exacerbated, he said. Now, the Suez Canal is an artery of world trade with an estimated 12% of global trade passing through the canal, which connects the Mediterranean with the Red Sea and provides the shortest sea link between Asia and Europe. And according to the SCA, nearly 19,000 ships passed through the canal in 2020, on average nearly 50 vessels per day. Now, that's massive. In other port news, the provisional port lock indicates that 20 vessels are scheduled to call at the port of Walvis Bay in April. The visiting ships comprise 1 fishing vessel, a tug, 1 bulk carrier, 2 tankers, 3 general cargo vessels, 2 multipurpose vessels, 5 ro-ros, and 5 container vessels. And then Port Captain Lucas Kufuna issued a memorandum with written instructions on Ebola after the World Health Organization warned about an outbreak of the disease in Africa. Kufuna said that the Port Authority deemed it prudent to implement measures to safeguard local port officials against being exposed to the threat posed by visiting vessels. And finally, the Berth Planning Division of Namport also announced that the current vessel nomination advice form has been revised through the addition of 4 addendums, which are to be submitted in conjunction with every vessel nomination advice with effect 15 March. Now, this was done in order to better cater to Namport's terminal operating system requirements in terms of vessel scheduling, berth planning, and vessel planning. And yes, you can get these and a lot of other information by visiting our website at www.erongo.com.na. I repeat that for you. Just go and visit www.erongo.com.na for these and many more stories and information. And that concludes our news report for today.
With me is Heide-Marie Lacheiner-Khun as well as Urte Remmert, who are part of the Swakopmund or the Art Association of Swakopmund, right? How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you.
All right. How are you, Mrs. Urte?
Very fine. It's weekend.
It's definitely weekend. So, and also speaking of weekend, we're going to have the night of galleries. Maybe Heide-Marie, you can shed some light on the night of galleries. It's obviously the 4th one that we're going to be having. Last year we didn't have one, so it's really very nice to have it back. What are the different exhibitions that we'll be having and at which galleries?
Yes, we have the Night of the Galleries on Easter Saturday, and it starts at 16:30, so 4:30, and there are 4 different galleries taking part this year.
Yes.
There's the Vermanhaus Gallery with nurture by Mitchell Gutzi. It's clay work and artwork of Urte Remmert.
Yes.
And then we have the Fine Art Gallery. That's the collective exhibition Traces of Time. At the Muschel, we have The Journey of Light by Margie Lienhaber. And then for the first time, Imke Engelhardt Jewelry is taking part, and she's got Namibian inspiration. She's a jeweler and it's got jewelry for the exhibition.
Amazing works of art. And you are also going to be showing us a journey of your art. Tell us more about, as an artist, how you evolved, and also what art are you going to be displaying at the specific exhibition?
Well, I studied art quite a few years ago. And did my teaching diploma. So I'm actually an art teacher, art educator, and I've been working especially in Namib High School for 15 years. And then I went on pension, and at last I can develop my art more intensely, which is a bit late, but better late than never.
You put your first last, but now you have some time for yourself.
Yes.
Okay.
Our work circles around motherhood.
Okay.
And Mitchell Gutzi, he's quite a well-known sculptor from Windhoek. He is working in clay, and he had this idea of nurture, which involves depicting mothers, depicting the state of motherhood, depicting mothers caring, mothers struggling, mothers keeping the family together. And he asked me if I would exhibit with him, so I also have the theme motherhood, because my specialty theme has been for years and years women, all the time. Because I think women in Namibia are very, very strong, and they keep the country together, not
yes.
the men.
The glue of
Yes,
the nation.
yes, because they are the caring ones. So my pictures, they are a combination of drawing with charcoal and red chalk and collage elements, which I put in. And they've got these titles like trust, nurture, first love, play, cradle, everything that has to do with a mother's
Embrace and love.
embrace, shelter, everything like that. Yeah.
Awesome. We are definitely looking forward to seeing all of this at the exhibition. And speaking of the exhibition, what are the, since last year we missed out on Night of Galleries because of COVID, because of Corona. Now we are back. What kind of measures, how are you going to make sure that these measures of COVID-19 are going to be adhered to?
Yes, that's why we planned this year to start at the Berman House Gallery,
Yes.
because the Berman House courtyard is quite a big space, and there we will have also like a small food truck who sells food or refreshments, so that everything is outside. And into the galleries are only maximum 50 people allowed.
Okay.
And we decided to take packs, and that as you go in you put on the pack, and if you leave you take it off again, and so we're sure there are not more than 50 people in the gallery.
And there are exactly 50 pegs as well.
Yes,
And apart from that, sanitizing, wearing of
sanitizing
masks
and all the normal COVID precautions we have.
Awesome stuff. And now finally, coming back to you, Urte, in terms of art, it is probably a very underestimated discipline, and as kids we are all born artists. What can happen in schools to make sure that art does not die in children?
Well, I think Namibia has grown quite a bit in the field of art, because it doesn't only happen in schools. It happens with private initiatives. There are lots of young black artists as well that established art schools.
Amazing.
They're struggling because there's no funding for them, or very little funding, but they make a way. And I am part of the National Arts Association, and they are full of these young people that teach young children art, which is where the start is.
Education.
Yeah, education. And then the bigger ones, there are very few schools that teach up to grade 12, art up to grade 12, which is a pity, because there is such a big field of opportunities,
Yes.
like graphic art and architecture and fashion design, and you name it.
So you can actually make a living out of this. People probably
Definitely.
assume that you cannot.
Definitely.
You can make a living out of
Yes,
this.
yes. One of my learners in Namipai was a boy who said to me, I want to be a fashion designer, and he applied to Milan Fashion School in Italy. And that's one of the world-renowned ones, and he was rejected very, very often. And in the end he got a place, and he studied, and he's now quite a well-known Namibian fashion designer,
Yes.
which is fantastic.
Persistence is the name of the game.
And now for your fishing report. The fishing turned from being slow to being on the go. In a matter of moments, and some monster-sized fish were landed, reports Grumpy. According to the fishing guru, Vlotskasbaken resident Murray Lewis, did not only catch a massive 5 kilogram shad, he also managed to catch an even bigger one of just over the 8 kilogram mark. Now, Grumpy says anglers with knowledge about shads in our waters will tell you that an average shad is in most instances just below the 1 kilogram mark. Any shad over the 5 kilogram mark is considered massive around the world. So, it's actually hats off to Murray for landing his personal best shad this past week. Murray used mullet fillet with a tail, lots of float, and fished in the vicinity of Vlotskasbaken, as we said earlier. Herman Krause and his wife Delita also went fishing just north of Cape Cross. They were targeting steenbras, using crabs and octopus as bait. The fishing duo managed to catch 5 really big fish, with the biggest being 22.3 kilogram. They released 3 of these fish to fight another day. Galjoen were also on the bite closer to Swakopmund, and some decent ones took the hook at the mile 14 area, a little to the northern side. There is a kelbed with some rock structure where the galjoen simply love to hang around. White mussel was the choice of bait on the day. According to Grumpy, the ski boats are again landing some big cop in the mile 8 area. He said that indications are that the cop might be heading north again, so keep an ear on the ground, and Grumpy advised that canopy and the likes of Warringby should produce some good fish soon. Conditions are bettering, with some southwesterly winds likely to get the fish biting even better, Grumpy concluded. And that brings us to the end of our fishing report for today.
My name is Denzel Brewer, former Brave Warriors goalkeeper. You are watching Erongo Talk.
Dear colleagues, fellow brothers and sisters of the Namport family, I greet you from the administration building at the new container terminal. You may wonder what the significance of this is. Well, our new container terminal on reclaimed land was officially inaugurated by His Excellency Dr. Heide-Marie, the President of the Republic of Namibia. Commissioning of the new container terminal took place on the 21st of August during that same year. Under normal circumstances, we would have congregated to celebrate the anniversary of the container terminal. But we are compelled by an invisible enemy to socially distance from one another. Today's celebrations are extraordinary in the sense that we not only celebrate the anniversary of the new container terminal, but we also celebrate our faith and perseverance that saw us through most difficult of times. I remain confident that this very same faith and perseverance will see us through this current global economic turmoil and the COVID-19 pandemic. The investment in the expansion and upgrading of our container handling capacity was necessary to decongest the old terminal and to provide for much needed capacity in terms of container and general cargo handling facilities. At the same time, it provides the opportunity to do much needed repairs of our old key infrastructure. This speaks to our mission, which is to provide world-class port services to all seaborne trade through excellent customer service, sustainable growth, promoting social responsibility, dedicated to the transformation of Namibia as a global logistics hub. At this juncture, I want to pause for a moment and briefly reflect on some of the major achievements over the past 12 months. The new container terminal provides direct employment to 281 employees. If one considers the average size of 5 people per family, the new container terminal indirectly supports the livelihood of 1,405 Namibian people. We have trained 33 operators in the handling of the post-Panamax cranes that are deployed at the new container terminal. We have handled in excess of 115,000 TEUs during the first 8 months of the year, and I remain confident that this positive growth trajectory will continue into the future. We have also recorded a record-breaking 46 berth moves per hour on one of the vessels which docked at the new container terminal in March of this year. Our new passenger jetty has welcomed 10 passenger liners, and this translates into over 5,000 international tourists visiting the port city of Walvis Bay. Colleagues, all this was made possible by the unwavering spirit of dedication and teamwork of men and women carrying the Namport flag. And to all of you, I am truly thankful. As we celebrate these achievements, let us also pay reverence to our colleagues who find themselves in isolation and quarantine facilities as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Let us pray for their speedy recovery. I wish us all a happy first anniversary of operations at the new container terminal. And as we celebrate these achievements, let us take good care of ourselves and our families. Let's stay healthy, let's stay safe, and God bless.
We now bring you the weather report for all the major towns in the Erongo region as well as the tides. En dit bring ons dan aan die einde van vandag se episode. Bly gerus aan en kuier op ons Facebook platform vir meer bedrywighede. Stuur vir ons nuustips, foto's of video's na 0817000040. Ek herhaal daardie nommer 0817000040. Julle is ook welkom om by ons aanlyn familie van amper 80,000 volgers aan te kom sluit. Ja, gaan like en dan klik jy op die skakels vir meer nuus oor die streek en informasie oor besighede en produkte op ons webwerf by www.erongo.com.na. Ek herhaal die ene vir julle, www.erongo.com.na. En dan indien jy wil adverteer, as jy beslis by die regte plek, stuur vir ons 'n boodskap ook na 0817000040. Onthou, COVID is met ons. Sanitize, hou maar die sosiale afstande en dra jou masker. Tot 'n volgende keer. Cheerio.